Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About It. I am Taco Minaj, and today I will be trying out some new makeup that I have, but I also wanted to talk about me entering my first ever pageant. So, let's get started. So first, I am just going to start with some moisturizer just to make sure that my skin is prepared and not going to be as damaged while I do my makeup. And then for primer, I will be using the e.l.f. Putty Primer. For foundation today, we'll be using the House Labs Triclone Skin Tech Foundation in the shade 145 Light Cool. So for concealer, I decided to pick up this CoverGirl True Blend Undercover in the shade Fair Porcelain, which I think is their lightest one. Have not tried this before, so let's see how it goes. So I am going in with a second layer of this concealer only because it's not giving me the coverage that I would like. And then to contour, I am using the Anastasia Beverly Hills contour stick in the shade Fawn. And I'm using that to create the contour shapes that I wish to see on my face. Which essentially is just adding shadow to places that I want to push back, in theory. So like definitely hide my double chin, just make out a one chin, you know? So while I blend out my contour, let's talk about my first ever pageant, you guys. Like I said I was going to. I was pretty nervous that day, and I just had a lot of feelings going on that morning that I worked through, but it was just a combination of like a lot of things happening at my job and like just being nervous because I felt like so many people like really praise my drag persona and really praise all of the performances that I do, so I kind of just gave myself like this added pressure for no reason to just make sure that I'm not letting anybody down, but like had to remember that like I don't let people down. Like I feel like that's just something that people who overthink things and get anxious just like have embedded in their mind, but like I truly just, I know that people love me for me, and that's great. And that's what I just need to tell myself. Like, people are proud of me just because I am me, and people support me for that. So I need to, what I tell myself was, I just need to get my mind right and just try my best because that's all people want from me anyway, is just for me to do my best. So I was like, let me just figure this out, right? And let me just do this and try to have fun. But like literally all morning I was extremely scared about just letting people down, and like I know that like a lot of people wanted me to win. And so that morning, that's all I could think about was I have to do a really great job for everybody who believes in me. And that kind of got scary for a minute, like I'm saying. So that was definitely weighing on me all that morning. So the theme for the pageant was 1950s, and I was like, I don't know anything about the 1950s, that's before my time. Like, I'm definitely part of that like younger generation that doesn't really care about like learning the past and is only focused on the future. So that was actually part of the reason why I wasn't going to do the pageant in the first place, because like I don't know, I wasn't really feeling it because I'm not really what like anybody who is familiar with drag and is like in the drag scene would consider to be a pageant queen. So I'm like, I'm not really a pageant queen. I don't really like to follow the pageant rules and of drag, you know. So like I didn't want to do the pageant in the first place, honestly, because I was like, I just don't think that like it fits my style. But like when I was trying to calm my nerves that morning of the pageant, I was telling myself, like, you know what, I feel like if you do drag and if you've been doing drag long enough, you should at least do one pageant just to try it out and see how it goes, right? So I was like, fine, I will do it. And I had thought like long and hard about what I would do for the theme being 1950s, because again, that's before my time. I was born in 95, and I just don't really know much about that era specifically. If it was like the 80s, I would have like knocked that out of the park. But I was like, I don't really know much, and I'm like, I'm not sure what I can do that's like within my, like, within my drag persona that I can do, right? And then I remembered, you know, I'm really into grayscale, as you guys have seen on my channel. I do that quite often. So I remembered that the television in the 50s was black and white, so I decided to use my grayscale makeup as my like advantage over the other competition, because like I don't know if I've ever seen like a pageant anything in grayscale. So I was like, you know what, maybe I can use that to stand out and be different. And that's what I ended up doing, and I ended up creating like this like concept out of like a pinup style based off of what I was finding on Google. So for eyes today, we will be using the One Size Beauty Patrick Star Visionary palette that I decided to give a try. I've been looking at this palette online for quite some time, so I decided today's the day. And then for the lid, I am going to use the NYX Glow Shots in the shade High Key Lychee. And I'm going to be using the eyeglass powder in the shade Crystal Joint and Stardacity. So let's get to talking about this pageant. So now, as I said, the theme of the pageant was 1950s, which was very turn-offish for me, but I decided that I'm just gonna try it. Let's do this. So I've never done a pageant, so I decided to make sure that I have a helper with me, and I ended up relying on the amazing help of my amazing friend Jess to help me with my ideas, which was, you know, doing grayscale. And I knew that it was going to take way too long and I wasn't gonna have enough time to paint my entire body like I wanted to, so I was like, hey, will you please help me? And I am very grateful and very, very thankful that my friend Jess was able to help me. So I am like forever and always will be eternally grateful that Jess was able to help me the way that she did, to make sure that I was in the makeup that I needed to be in and that my entire body was grayed out. So I'm sitting there doing my makeup on my face, and she is helping me paint my entire body, and she is literally on the floor, face in my crotch, like using this body paint that I found online from the Graphitobian brand. And I'm like getting really nervous for her because I'm like, I think we've like hung out a couple of times outside of work, and I know she's been to some of my shows at the bar, and I was just like nervous for her, you know. I was like, oh my god, like I hope this isn't like I hope this isn't awkward for you. And she's like, no, I have 3 kids, like this is like, I'm fine, like don't worry about me. I'm like, okay, great. So that really helped me. But like literally the entire time I'm sitting there like doing my makeup, I'm just feeling like this brush going up and down my legs, and quite an interesting experience to say the least. But I remember that there were like, I think the queen that I was getting ready next to, and then like somebody else was like, why is your entire body gray right now? Like, what are you doing? Why are you putting on gray makeup? And I was like, you'll see. You'll see. The first thing on the day of the pageant, I get there and we have one of the sponsors helping us like go through what's gonna happen for the day. And this queen actually lended me some earrings for me to wear because, again, I don't normally wear jewelry on stage, and like that's what I mean by like, I'm not sure if I'm like a pageant queen because I don't really wear jewelry, and that's kind of like a standard, and it's just not, it's like not my thing, right? So she lent me some jewelry and I'm very grateful, and since then I've decided to get a little bit of my own jewelry, and so I'm spoiling myself, but she's walking us through how everything's gonna go, and like I'm just nervous the entire time, like, oh geez. And then the interview comes up and I'm like, well, this is where everything goes wrong for me, because I have one of those brains where my thought processes, and like even like right now, like my brain will just short circuit and I just have a hard time like picking up where my train of thought was. And that definitely happened while I was on the interview portion of the pageant, and as you guys can tell based off of how I'm talking about it right now, I ended up having the lowest score on my score sheet was from interview. So that I kind of saw coming, and I mean, what are you gonna do about that, right? So I'm like, I'm just not gonna worry about it. It is what it is. Let's just move on. After I am starting to get close to being done with my body being painted, I'm starting to actually have fun. And I am talking with the other competitors, I'm talking with Jess, and I'm talking with the other people who were downstairs helping the other competitors, and I just start having a fun time. And I am so thankful that eventually I was able to have a fun time and really enjoy myself, you know, because ultimately that's like what we are all here to do, is just have a good time. So now that I am finally enjoying myself, I am getting closer and closer to being in the full outfit. So after interview comes presentation, and the presentation basically had to fit the theme. So for 1950s, as I was saying, I did a rockabilly pinup thing, and I will post a photo here of what I looked like. And I saw myself in the mirror, you guys, and after the whole look was on, I was like, you know what? I feel pretty fucking cool. And I feel like it was my first time, like, that I've ever had, and I've ever felt like I had, like, a fully put together look. Which I guess, you know, I gotta thank the older queens who tried to help me when I first started. Because I feel like they were right, even though I shut them down several times, and I'm sorry about that to those who were watching that. Still not my everyday thing though, so there's that as well. But I just remember feeling like extremely fucking cool, and I'm like, this is great, like maybe I should do this more often. And I felt really proud of myself. And so for presentation, I'm going to throw up the video right now, and I'll kind of talk over it, but essentially it is just me walking on stage, presenting my outfit and looking gorgeous while doing so. And you like have to walk a certain way, which was new to me because I don't really care about, again, most of that fine detail anyway. But I was like really feeling it. I was like, this is my first like official runway, and so here I am looking absolutely gorgeous and stunning and put together for the first time, well, maybe one of the first times of my actual drag career.
Hello! Hi, welcome guys. I'm Justin number 3. And I am having, this is my first pageant ever. So, I'm very excited to be here. Thank you everybody for having me.
I'm pretty sure that this has dried out, which is a shame because I've never used this before. It's my first time opening it since I bought it. I bought it when it came out and I haven't used it. So like, I mean, I get that it's been sitting there, but I haven't opened it yet. So like, why is this not working the way that I need it to work? I mean, this one's working perfectly, so like we're just gonna be thankful for that. And we're just gonna use that all over the lid. So now I come back downstairs from the presentation category, and then the next up is evening gown. And I should have picked a different outfit, but I wanted to wear this really pretty gold dress that I will throw up. And I wanted to wear that because like 50-year anniversaries are supposed to be golden. And so I was like, that would work, let me do that. But it didn't read how I wanted it to read, unfortunately. And like, it was a little too outside of the box. So that I understood. I'm like, I get it. But it was one of the only gowns that I had that looked nice and like pageant-y. Cause like I have other gowns that are made out of like spandex fabrics, but like they're not, like they don't scream like pageant. So I didn't want to get docked points for that. So I was like, all right, let's just stick with this one. Now, when I had tried it on in my house, it like barely touched the floor. I was like, all right, this is good enough, right? Well, when I got there, it did not touch the floor. And so I'm backstage trying to get everything together, and then I realized, well, this doesn't touch the floor, so I'm screwed. And I ended up getting some points docked for that, which again, totally understandable. Should have done a little better job preparing for the gown, but I felt like I was already spending way too much money on the pageant anyway, so I just went with that one. And also because I hadn't worn it before, so I was like, this is a good excuse for me to finally wear this. So I am walking in evening gown, and they're announcing all of these categories, if I could speak. And I will play the clip that I got sent of that right now.
Taco's evening gown tonight is by Secret Queen. They're designed by Taco Menon. And jewelry was sponsored by Jason Hazeltine. Presentation designer was by, I'm going to say this wrong, Courtney Clothing. Her favorite holiday is Halloween. She's a pumpkin spice latte kind of girl when she goes to Starbucks. Her favorite superhero is Wonder Woman. Her role model is Whitney Cummings. And her favorite drink is ice mountain water. Probably with only 3 ice cubes in that glass. She's sponsored today by Giselle Boyer.
So in between all of the categories, we have the judges and we have past winners of the pageant performing songs, and it kind of got me a little irritated. I'm just going to be honest, because I get anxious and I like to kind of have that mentality, which is bad of me to have the mentality of like, I like to get this shit over and done with, so like, let's go. I don't want to sit here. I get really anxious when I'm sitting and waiting backstage, and that definitely came out when everybody was performing. And then like down where we were changing, there is like a main changing room, and then there's kind of like an outer like bar area where they had us changing, so it was a little frustrating to have so many people walking back and forth while I'm trying to change. But it was fine. It was just a little annoying for me personally, but it was really cool to see everybody, or to hear everybody and see everybody coming back and changing outfits in between everything. I can just tell that like they were having a really good time, so good for them. And then eventually it was time for us to do our talent. So as you guys heard during the evening gown, one of my favorite heroes and somebody who really inspires me is Whitney Cummings. I listen to her podcast all the time, which actually her podcast is what inspired the Wooden Taco, for those who know about that. If not, that was a podcast that I tried creating with one of my best friends, Ember Wood, who is also a drag queen. And I will link that below if you guys are interested. We only had a couple of episodes that we did. And then Ember ended up moving to find love in Rhode Island. And I am very happy for Ember. But anyway, Whitney Cummings is one of my favorite people and biggest inspirations right now in my life, because I listen to her podcast, and one of my favorite shows ever is Two Broke Girls. And because it was 50s theme, I was like, let's do something Two Broke Girls inspired, because 50s and diner, that goes together, right? And then I decided to do Queen Herbie's song called Juice, which is one of my favorite songs, and it gives me the ability to show off how fast I can lip sync and rap on stage. And I remember I performed that at this big drag show that I did last February, or this past February I should say, at a place called Bourbon Street, which was honestly one of my proudest moments ever, was performing at Bourbon Street, because it had such a huge audience. And the thunderous roar, I am telling you, from that show just validated that I am doing something great for myself with drag, So I decided to do a mix-up of scenes from Two Broke Girls as well as Juice from Queen Herbie, and I'm going to throw that clip in here, and I'm going to have to talk over it because I don't want to get a copyright claim. So let's discuss what is going on in this video. Alright, so here we have me lip syncing to scenes from Two Broke Girls, where I am trying to hand some props over to the judges as a way to be serving them, to make sure that they understand this is a diner setting that I'm trying to create. However, as you guys saw, the props ended up not working well. But here I am lip syncing to clips from Two Broke Girls.
Hi, what can I get you?
We need some.
Is that annoying? Is that obnoxious and rude? Would you find it distracting if someone did that to you while you were working? Oh, you don't have a job, sorry. You think this is the sound that gets you service? I think this is the sound that dries up my vagina.
Your waitress disappeared. The Russian one? We need horseradish. Please.
That, ladies, is how you treat a waitress.
Excuse me, where's my waitress?
She's coming.
Here is me dancing to the theme of Two Broke Girls. And then here I am lip syncing to Juice by Queen Herbie, one of my favorite songs because I get to rap fast. And as I said, I felt like Juice would go good with the diner theme, so I was like, let's do that. And yeah, that's what I ended up doing. So as you guys just saw, that was me rapping really, really fast to Queen Herbie, making sure that my lip sync was tight and that the judges could see every single word that was coming out of my mouth. I made sure to point at my mouth. This way they know to focus on me showing that I know the words and I can keep up with the song. Now what you can't see the judges were sitting in front right along the stage. And one of the judges, actually two of them, when I started rapping fast, started leaning in, making sure that they were looking at making sure that my lip sync was on point. And that's when I knew that I caught the judges' eyes when they leaned in. And then here I am dancing however like felt good to me in the moment. I just was like, I gotta do something, right? Like, let me just keep up with the beat. And my brain was just listening to the feedback from the audience. So it was like a little hard for me to like absorb all of that energy from the audience, but still focus on only the judges. But I think everything went well, and I think everything came out great. So after talent, we come back downstairs and we are told to change into like something for like the like ceremony part of the thing. And I just decided to hop back into my evening gown, and I was like, let's just do this, right? Because I mean, it looks nice, it's a gown, and I didn't bring anything for that because I didn't think about it. That's my fault, of course, and I take the full blame for that, and I'm not blaming anybody but myself. But as I am changing, I have like two of the judges saying, wow, your talent was everything. And then one of the judges was like, hey, I need to get your contact information. I want to book you in Milwaukee. And I'm like, oh, okay. I am the most excited. That's my excited voice, by the way. I am the most excited that I impressed the judges with my talent. And like when I was on stage, that was like the funnest time that I had. So good. And I just felt really good doing that, you know, like it was very magical for me. So we end up going back on stage to hear like how the results are, right? And then they start with who is the Mister, and then they move on to who is the Mrs. Now, I went for Mrs. obviously, and I ended up winning presentation for my grayscale makeup and that pinup look that I did, which was the 1950s theme category. And then I also won talent. So I ended up placing second, right? And honestly, I am still very, very proud of myself to this day for getting second place on my first pageant. And honestly, for winning talent and impressing the judges enough to where he has booked me in Milwaukee, that is the win to me. That is the absolute win for me, at least. Like, I mean, I didn't win the crown, I didn't win the title, but I still think I won. Genuinely, honestly, I really feel like I did. Seriously, might be cliche to say that, like, I feel like a winner even though I didn't win, but like, I truly do. And like, I wouldn't say that if I didn't, honestly. Like, I really hope you guys know me better than that, because I'm not one of those people. But I just genuinely had such a great time, and I had a great experience doing the whole thing, and I like legit feel like a winner, even though I didn't win. And it is so amazing for me to, you know, have like gotten as far as I did, and I don't know, I don't even know what the words are right now. I'm just still really happy about everything. While we are on the topic of me getting second place, I need to address some rumors going around because I don't want, like, these rumors are not true, and I feel the need to just like address them and let everybody know that you know, they're not true. There was a rumor going around saying that I only lost by a couple of points, right? That's what a lot of people were telling me, that it was like so close and that I barely lost. But the sponsor who helped us all at the beginning of the pageant and was walking us through everything ended up showing us the like score sheet overall at the end of the pageant and like how everybody did compared to everybody else. We all got our own like score sheets for us with like the judges' critiques on it, but there was also the like final scoring for everybody, and I lost by 52 points. So I know a lot of people are saying that I only lost by like 2 or 3 points. No, I got second place from a 52-point difference, and I just want to address that because I really, really love and appreciate the queen who won. One of my favorite people, truly. I love having backstage talks with them, and I feel like I like really like can lean on them, and I just trust them a lot, you know? I just feel like they're one of my more favorite people. Like, I don't really, that's not really a good word to say because like I have a lot of favorites, but seriously, just a genuine friend of mine, and I want to address this because I just want to make sure that they're, with these rumors going around, I don't want it to like get back to them, and I don't want it to like create any kind of animosity because again, I just have nothing but complete respect for this person, and like if I was to lose to anybody, I was glad that it was that one. I'm not sure if they want to be mentioned, which is why I'm just not going to say what their name is, because, you know, this is my video, not their video, and I don't want to like post this and then later, you know, like feel like I violated something with them. But you know who you are, and like truly I love you so much, and I am very glad that you won, and I did not want to lose to anybody else. And when I saw this person actually walk in, I was really pissed off because I get there, and it's supposed to be 3 of us. There ended up being a 4th person as a surprise entry, and I knew right away that if this person's in there, I legit have like no chance in hell. And I ended up not having a chance at all because again, 52 points, man, that's a lot of points that I lost by, and well deserved, honestly. But when I saw that they were the surprise entry last minute, I was like, fuck. So I'm going to do my lips, and then I'm going to do some mascara, put the whole look together, and then I will be back with the final look. Alright, so here is the completed look. I am wearing the dress that I wore for my presentation number. What do you guys think of the final look? But I just wanted to give a final, like, just showing appreciation and gratitude for, like, everybody who believed in me, everybody who was still just as proud of me, the people who wanted me to win, and were a little upset that I didn't win, like y'all are the real ones. But I also want to give a huge shout out to my friend Jess for helping me. I got a plaque for presentation, and I'll show you guys the plaques that I won, and I'm going to hang up the talent winner behind me somewhere. Haven't found a place for that yet, but I did end up giving the presentation plaque that I won, slash trophy that I won, to Jess for helping me, as kind of like thank you so much for helping me, because honestly I couldn't have done it without you, Jess. Like literally I wouldn't have time to have painted my entire body like I did. So thank you so much for helping me with that, and allowing me to have such a great time. Like honestly, I'm just so grateful for everything and how everything turned out. And I don't know, really, it was just like a great experience, and I'm so glad that I did it. And I am just like still in shock that I did so well for my first pageant, and I will definitely be hopefully completing the thing to where I win next year, but competing next year is what I was trying to say. And I just look forward to it. It was a great experience. I don't regret it at all. I'm very grateful for it. And I am thankful for everybody who ended up talking me into doing it. And just thankful for all the support that I've had, you know, like it was such a great experience. I am still like smiling so much about it, honestly. And I hope you guys enjoyed everything that I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much. Thank you everybody. Honestly, like discovering drag and all of its creativity has really given me so much validation, and being able to like have stuff come out of second place, and just having like the opportunities that I have. I'm trying to find the words to, I don't know, like I'm still just so excited. But having the opportunities that I have been given due to like doing this whole thing, and having a new perspective on drag, and having a new like love for drag and all that stuff, is just really validating, and I'm just beyond eternally grateful for everything. So I had such a fun time. Thank you all who showed up to support me, and I can't wait for next year. This has been another episode of Let's Talk About It. I am Tak Minaj, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much. I love you all, honestly. Bye!